Hi everyone, Stephanie Johnston here at the studio. I've had a little bit of interest lately in um, some folks just wondering what DBT is in general. So I thought that I would make y'all a little video to help explain it. Dialectical behavior therapy, I'm going to try to do this in 2 or 3 minutes, was started in the 90s by Marsha Linehan. She had a certain group of clients that just weren't getting better in treatment. These clients were kind of chronically suicidal. They did a lot of self-harm and had a lot of impulsive behaviors. Clinicians usually diagnose them as borderline personality disorder. So this population was just really hard to treat. And so Linehan, who later disclosed that she had DBT herself, created this therapy for them. So DBT is different in that most therapies are either change-based. So like cognitive therapies are, this is how your thinking is kind of inaccurate. These are your distortions. This is what we're going to kind of change. And it's a very change-based approach. Or most therapies, the other half, are acceptance-based. So it's all about the therapeutic relationship. It's about the bond and connecting and just kind of very supportive. Both of which are excellent types of therapies, but both of which don't really hit a major component of what the borderline client needs. And I like to say that it's really just for highly sensitive people in general, because not everybody technically has borderline personality disorder, but there are a lot of HSPs out there. You can kind of Google that. That's a term that is not as clinical, but still the same basic type of people that benefit from DBT. So whether you have borderline personality disorder or are just a very highly sensitive person, DBT is usually a good bet for you. So Linehan developed DBT in the 90s in Seattle through a lot of trial and error, and she's a genius. And found that you need a blend of both of those types of therapies to really get everything that the highly sensitive person needs. So DBT is a dialectic, is like a teeter-totter. It is two opposites that kind of come together to create a synthesis, and then that is a whole new thing. The dialectic piece is kind of hard to explain. It's a philosophical tradition, sort of, but I just think of it as a teeter-totter. So black and white, a yin-yang is a really good example of a dialectical. It's opposites that incorporate both of the opposites with each other, a yin-yang. So Marsha Linehan made DBT, and she created these 4 components. So it has individual, so now currently 20, 30 years later, to be trained in DBT, you have to be a psychotherapist, and it's a really extensive training. So I was lucky enough to be at the VA for the past 8 years, and they sent me off to get well trained in it. I'm very appreciative of that because it's very expensive, very extensive, takes a long time. So you go for a few weeks to get the intensive training from the Linehan Institute, and then you have to come back and be a part of a team. DBT model is individual therapy for a year, so we contract for a year. Group therapy, which is 1.5 to 2 hours every week for a year. 24/7 phone coaching, because the premise is that life doesn't just happen in the therapy hour. That's one of 180 or something hours in a week. And so the therapist is accessible to the clients in the middle of the night if need be, or during the day. Clinicians sometimes worry about that, but it honestly is not, to me, is not a problem. I would much rather be there for my clients at 9 p.m. than have them have a really impulsive self-harm episode or suicidal episode, or just not have the support that they need when they need it, and they really don't abuse it. It's an okay thing. So individual, group, 24/7 phone coaching, and then the clinicians all have a consultation group that meets once a week, and we support each other. We all talk about the cases. So it's not just one person helping the client is a group of 4 or 5 or 10, however many people are in your consultation group. Recently, in the past 5 years or so, they have created a certification for DBT. Again, it is very extensive and expensive. You have to pass a test, you have to submit an application, you do a case conceptualization, you send in videos of yourself doing work with your clients. So I'm halfway through that process. But right now in Arkansas, nobody is certified yet. Because it is so extensive and hard to implement, I mean, those 4 pieces are, complicated and hard to implement. And because the training is so extensive, not many places offer DBT. One of the risks is that clinicians can say that they're doing DBT, but if they really don't offer all 4 of those pieces, then it's more like DBT informed, or they use DBT skills. So depending on your needs, you may need to really make sure that you're getting the full program. What else? What is BPD is probably a whole other topic. It's impulsivity, it's kind of black and white thinking. It is just very emotionally sensitive, which I love. Like, my BPD clients, I love them. They're fantastic people. They're very sensitive, which makes them amazing artists and poets and musicians and parents and leaders in the community. But they were never taught what their emotions are, how to deal with them, how to calm themselves down, how to engage appropriately in social settings, to kind of tolerate their emotions. And so it's really just a lack of skills. It's a skills deficit. So we have assumptions in DBT that everybody is doing the best they can and they need to do better. That's the dialectic. So each piece will always kind of have its opposites. So BPD can have a very stigmatized kind of reputation. I'm doing everything I can to bust that up because it's just not accurate. I've been specializing in this for many years, and although these clients can be a hot mess, and I like to reclaim the term hot mess, because who isn't a hot mess at some point? There's nothing to be ashamed about that. So they can have very intense, impulsive behaviors, but once they learn the skills, they really can get that under control and just be the fantastic people that they are underneath all of that chaos. So I hope that helps explain what DBT is. Marsha Linehan is the founder and kind of the guru of it. If you look at the Linehan Institute, they have a search option where you can find certified clinicians or people that are on consultation teams. I do offer all this at the studio, and now that I've gone full-time here and have left the VA completely, I do miss them. I love those people. I have a group on Saturdays, every other Saturday, which is kind of DBT Lights, a group on Fridays and Wednesdays, and then a teletherapy option as well. So if you're in need, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is everywhere. I'm happy to talk to anyone, do free consultations, all that is fine. So please reach out if you have more questions. I hope that answered a little bit about what DBT is in general. And again, just let me know if you need anything else. Thanks.